Breaking! Prince William just said no to the Prime Minister, and what happened next could bring down the entire British government. Yesterday at 11:43 a.m, the future King of England did something no royal heir has done in living memory. He refused a direct order from Prime Minister Starmer. Not a polite delay, not a diplomatic maybe, just no. And that single word just triggered the biggest constitutional crisis Britain has seen since 1936. If you want to see how this ends, hit subscribe right now, because what I'm about to show you will change how you see British politics forever. Here's what really happened. 4 days ago, Starmer demanded an urgent meeting with Prince William at Kensington Palace. His request was blunt. The royal family must publicly support Labour's controversial housing reform bill. The bill would seize unused land, including Crown estate properties, to build affordable housing. But there was a threat buried in Starr's letter. Multiple sources who saw the document confirm his exact words. The monarchy must demonstrate its commitment to modern Britain's housing crisis or face questions about its continued relevance. Read that again. The Prime Minister of Great Britain just threatened the royal family. William's response was ice cold. Through his private secretary, he sent back a single sentence. The Prince of Wales respectfully declines to involve the Crown in active political advocacy, as such involvement would fundamentally undermine constitutional precedent and the monarchy's impartial position. 23 words, no negotiation, no compromise, just a constitutional line in the sand, and Starmer lost his mind. According to senior sources inside Number 10, the Prime Minister's reaction was explosive. Witnesses say he paced his office at 2:17 p.m, face flushed, voice rising. He thinks he can just say no to the elected government of this country. One minister heard him shout. Deputy Prime Minister Angela Rayner was in the room. She later told Confidence it was the angriest she'd ever seen him. But what Starr said next was even more dangerous, according to two cabinet members present. He slammed his fist on his desk and declared, if William wants to play constitutional games, I'll remind him who actually runs this country. The Crown exists at Parliament's pleasure, not the other way around. Think about those words. A British Prime Minister openly threatening the monarchy. Within 3 hours, Downing Street sources leaked the entire story to The Guardian, clearly trying to pressure the palace into backing down. That decision was a massive mistake, because while this political war plays out in palaces and parliaments, real people are suffering. British veterans who served their country with honour are sleeping on the streets tonight. John Patterson is 71 years old. He's a former Royal Marine from Portsmouth who served 22 years defending Britain's freedom. He survived 3 combat tours. Now he survives on £89 per week, universal credit, living in a tent beneath Waterloo Bridge. I fought for this country, Patterson told reporters with tears in his eyes. Now my country's forgotten I exist. While servicemen like Patterson freeze in doorways, the government just approved $4.2 million for a new parliamentary tea room renovation, heated marble floors. Italian leather chairs, crystal chandeliers imported from Austria. Let that sink in. Veterans are homeless. Parliament is getting luxury upgrades, and it gets worse. Documents obtained by the Daily Telegraph show that the same housing Bill Starmer wants William to support would actually reduce veteran housing assistance by $340 million over 3 years. The money would be redirected to what the bill calls priority demographic groups. Mary Phillips is a 64-year-old former army nurse from Leeds. She waited 14 months for social housing while raising her disabled grandson. They told me I wasn't priority enough, she said in a video that's now been viewed 1.88 million times, but they want Prince William to tell us this is fair. The working people of Britain see the hypocrisy and they're furious. Then King Charles did something nobody expected. At yesterday's Privy Council meeting at Buckingham Palace, the King delivered what insiders describe as the coldest rebuke ever directed at a sitting Prime Minister in modern history. The Prince of Wales, Charles stated with steel in his voice, has acted with perfect constitutional correctness, as I would expect from the future king, he continued. The Crown serves Britain by remaining above political disputes, not by becoming a tool of whichever government holds temporary power. Palace insiders say the king's hands never shook. His voice never wavered, but his message was crystal clear. William has his father's full support, and Starmer has badly miscalculated. According to 3 sources with direct knowledge of the meeting, Charles went even further. He reportedly told assembled ministers, "When my son takes a principled stand on constitutional matters, he does so with centuries of precedent behind him. Those who would pressure him otherwise might reflect on why such precedent exists." The room went silent. Everyone understood what the king was really saying. Starmer had crossed a line that no prime minister should cross. Lord Chamberlain Andrew Parker, who attended the meeting, later described the atmosphere as glacial, and the consequences hit immediately. Within hours, the pound sterling dropped 1.7% against the dollar. £23 billion wiped from London's FTSE 100 in a single trading session. Currency traders in Hong Kong, New York and Frankfurt began describing Britain as experiencing sovereign risk. Language normally reserved for failing states, Goldman Sachs downgraded UK stability ratings. 3 major pension funds froze new investments in British assets. On social media, the explosion was even more dramatic. Defend William trended globally for 16 consecutive hours, reaching 47 million impressions. Analysis showed 82% of posts came from Britain itself. Ordinary people who never engaged politically were creating accounts just to defend their future king. Protests erupted across Britain. In Manchester, Birmingham, Leeds and Glasgow, thousands gathered with signs reading, "Parley serves Britain, not itself, and hands off our royal family." In Newcastle, a crowd estimated at 12,000 marched through the city centre chanting, "William stands for us." The polling numbers tell the real story. A YouGov poll released at 6 p.m. showed catastrophic results for Labour. Public approval of Prince William surged to 81%, the highest for any royal since the Queen's Diamond Jubilee. Meanwhile, Starmer's approval collapsed to 31%, down 14 points in just 4 days. 76% of Britons said the Prime Minister was wrong to pressure the royal family. Even more damaging, 68% of Labour's own 2,024 voters disapproved of Starmer's handling of the situation. In Labour strongholds like Liverpool, support for the party dropped 19 points in internal polling conducted Wednesday night. This isn't a political misstep anymore. This is a complete electoral disaster. Inside number 10, Downing Street, panic is setting in. Ministers are conducting emergency meetings behind closed doors. Shouting matches echo through corridors. Chancellor Rachel Reeves allegedly confronted Starr directly in Tuesday's cabinet meeting, telling him his approach was reckless and unsustainable. "You're destroying the party over a fight we don't need," she reportedly told him in front of 15 cabinet members. Shadow Foreign Secretary David Lammy was overheard saying, "We're watching him destroy everything we built in 18 months. WhatsApp groups with names like Save Labour and Post Star Planning are now plotting leadership challenges. One group's leaked screenshots reveal it includes 43 sitting Labour MPs and has been active since Monday night. The question isn't if they'll move against him anymore, it's when. Senior backbencher Margaret Hodge, a party veteran with 27 years in Parliament, didn't hold back in her Guardian column. When a Labour leader picks fights with the monarchy while ignoring homeless veterans, he's lost the plot and lost the country. Angela Rayner has started taking meetings with major donors discussing what she calls Labour's future direction in terms that clearly exclude the current Prime Minister. 4 sources confirm she's conducting what amounts to a shadow leadership campaign. Starmer looked exhausted at Prime Minister's questions yesterday. Sources say his hands trembled slightly when responding to attacks, something observers had never witnessed before. The walls are closing in. But here's where this story gets truly explosive. Leaked cabinet documents show the Prime Minister's office developed a secret contingency plan titled Operation Modern Monarch. If these documents are real and 3 separate sources claim they've seen them, then Labour was preparing to fundamentally restructure the monarchy's constitutional role. Not reform, not modernisation, restructuring. The document allegedly proposes limiting royal authority over Crown estate decisions, requiring monarchs to seek government approval for major ceremonial appointments, and establishing a parliamentary committee with oversight powers over palace expenditures. One section reportedly suggests the government should have veto power over royal public statements that touch on matters of national policy relevance. If accurate, this represents the most aggressive government assault on royal independence since the English Civil War. And here's the truly explosive part. According to a senior civil servant who claims to have seen the document, Operation Modern Monarch was drafted 3 months ago, long before this current crisis erupted, which means Starmer didn't stumble into this fight. He planned it. He wanted this confrontation.